We will leave the EU on the 29th of March 2019.
It's made to raise a laugh, but it also makes a serious point about the Conservatives failing to deliver Brexit when they said they would. This online video is the work of Momentum, the grassroots movement that supports Labour leader Jeremy Corbyn. One example of how political parties are using eye-catching digital content in the battle for undecided voters. And Boris Johnson's Conservatives are firing back with a series of memes, all with a similar message, but with different treatments depending on whom they're aimed at. Sean Topham and Ben Gearin, the young New Zealanders behind many of them, were hired after helping Australia's centre-right Liberal Party score an unexpected election victory this year.
We were posting 30 posts a day and more than 200 or 250 a week. That means you have to generate and publish a new piece of content every 20 minutes. That's how you get what we call the boomer memes, because you had to crank stuff out quickly.
I love this top one here, this sort of horrible mix of neon pink and a very bold sort of canary yellow.
This advertising professional, who runs his own blog on the latest political memes, says this deliberately garish content is often counterintuitively popular with older voters.
We have seen some of the advertising that the Conservative Party have done aimed at under 35s, and it's got more of a sort of retro cool 80s vibe to it, where it's actually quite polished and well crafted in the way, and it sort of uses the visual language of the internet in quite a nice way.
For the digital team at Momentum, the emphasis is on spreading content with real people talking about their lived experience of issues like healthcare. But they say they'll continue to put out satirical videos too.
You can talk very seriously about the things this government has done. You can talk seriously about things like Grenfell. You can talk seriously about things, like excess deaths as a result of austerity. But then you can also talk irreverently, because I think, people aren't just always communicating in one tone. They're communicating in so many.
In this campaign, we're seeing online content that's generating lots of laughs, and then we're seeing content that's getting laughed at. Now, some experts say what really matters is simply that people are engaging with the output, but others are sounding alarm bells.
I think the important thing is that in trying to get those simple, catchy messages across, they don't lose sight of the importance of being honest with the electorate, because sometimes the simple message isn't necessarily the most accurate message.
Well, I can't hide it from you. I've been thinking a bit about this general election campaign.
What's clear is more than ever before, the search for hearts and minds is happening online as much as it is on doorsteps. Nadim, Al Jazeera, London.
Well, Matt Walsh is a senior lecturer in journalism at Cardiff University in the UK, and he joins us now on Skype. Matt, good to have you with us. This is really a symptom of the modern political age, isn't it? We live in very heavily politicised, partisan, tribalised times. Is this about, look, find your people, target them, get the message to them, and get them to get out and vote?
Yes, in part, absolutely. This is partly a kind of about energising your supporters, about creating a community that's in on the same jokes, that understands the same language, and trying to persuade them to kind of get out, talk to people, and share that information with people that they know. Now, that's part of what they're trying to do with these sorts of pieces of political communication. But what they're also trying to do is trying to use the spillover effect. So you might share that piece of content onto your Facebook wall. You might put it into a private messaging group on Facebook or on WhatsApp. And that spillover effect also means that people that are perhaps not quite as engaged as you are with political content are also consuming the political content, and they maybe are getting the message for the first time. So there is serious intent in some of these operations as well as humour.
Who's better at this? Do you think this may lean slightly more to Labor, given the type of activity you see online, perhaps the numbers of younger people who may be more inclined to vote Progressive, who are active online? Does that give Labor an advantage here over Conservatives or not?
Well, look, Labour has been better at this kind of communication, this kind of engagement, particularly with video, over the past couple of elections. In 2017, in particular, they were very, very good at this sort of operation. What's happened here is that the Conservatives have caught up. They're also starting to use these sorts of methods of communication, and they've gotten better at it. They're definitely making more impact with this than they did at the last election, where they had a candidate who, well, perhaps wasn't terribly well suited to appearing on these sorts sorts of videos. So yes, certainly Labour have made the running, and part of what's making the advantage in Labour's direction is what Nadim was just reporting about there, which is the impact of Momentum as a campaign group. So Momentum, a campaign group set up to support Jeremy Corbyn's leadership campaigns. He ran 2 in fairly quick succession in 2015 and 2016, and so therefore they're battle hardened. They're used to using these methods of communication. They're very good at distributing not only humorous content and humorous messages. So they had a video out last week, which was quite amusing, which portrayed Batman as a capitalist and the Joker as somebody confronting him and revealing his hypocrisy to him. But they're also good at sharing serious political intent as well, serious political messages too.
As you were speaking there, of course, we saw that online video of Boris Johnson, and that's being used. I see that people who are involved in the Australian election campaign are also involved in this one, and online had an impact there where the Prime Minister, Scott Morrison, really utilised his own popularity. What do you see about the Johnson factor and his ability to get that message that says, look, we need to get out of Brexit, we need you to vote, and how that would resonate particularly for those who are really motivated to see Brexit done?
Yes, I mean, the Johnson video is very interesting, I think, because clearly that's already one of the most watched videos on Twitter in the campaign thus far. And part of the reason why that's being so successful is that people are sharing it because of the joke effect. It's humorous, it's amusing, and they're passing it around to people as part of the laugh. So lots of people making the same joke on Twitter about how this is like a scene from The Office with Ricky Gervais. Well, yeah, sure, it is funny, but as a result of that, they're then pushing that content around to other people. They're sharing it to their own communities, their own followers, and those people are perhaps seeing it for the first time. So there is a certain element here where the being the butt of the joke is actually the price of entry to it, absorbing the political message that sits within the video. So yeah, absolutely, they may be laughing at him, but is he having the last laugh? Well, we'll have to wait and see.
Plays to his persona. It's fascinating. You know, the way politics is done now. Matt, good to have you on the program. Thank you.
Thank you.